I'm here. It's finally time. Oh my god. Okay. I have got the last two Jackie Faber books and 1,000 things to do besides read them, but we're gonna make this work anyway, and by we I mean I. Obviously. Okay. Fuck. Boston Jackie. This is book 9. I don't even wanna look. What am I saying? 9? What the fuck? Book 11. I don't even want to look at book 12 because what if I spoil myself or something? Although I do want to say that I have looked at the cover, right? She's on a gallows and there are people who genuinely look like they're dressed in hoods like they're in the Klan. And I'm pretty sure the Ku Klux Klan did not exist back then, but who cares? So, Boston Jackie, this is where we're starting. All right, so context. This is the final video wherein I do this epic reread of the 12-book series of The Bloody Jack Adventures by L.A. Meyer, except for the part where I've never read the last 2 books. So 11 and 12 in this video, it's all new from here. I have no idea what happens in them. My best guess is that this is set in Boston. Doy. Oh my god, let's read this together because I don't know this. Let's read this. Ooh. Okay. Oh, fuck. All right. Jackie Faber has a habit of making waves, even when docked in her adopted city of Boston, where she is attending to the business of Faber Shipping Worldwide. With big dreams and perhaps a bit too much exuberance for the very Puritan populace, she purchases the Pig and Whistle Inn. Oh, nice. Determined to revive her old stomping grounds and establish a musical theater. But Jackie quickly finds herself at odds with the Women's Temperance Union and a town roiling with tension over the arrival of hundreds of Irish laborers brought in on her very own Lorelei Lee. As things heat up, both literally and figuratively, she's soon back in Judge Thwackham's courtroom, facing the dozen lashes promised the last time she stood before the judge. Thwarted at every turn by her enemies, Jackie is finally forced to confront her shortcomings and possibly lose her beloved Jamie Fletcher in the process. Oh no. Just fucking marry him already. I'm so tired of this. Okay. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. I'm very excited. This is gonna be fun. Jackie's gonna cause trouble. And we love to see it. And also possibly set Boston on fire, because Boston appears to be on fire in this picture. Alright. I'm gonna stop for now, but I'll talk to you once I've started it. Hello. It's time. God. Let's be less close. To update you on Boston Jackie, which I am about halfway through. I just finished part 2 of who knows how many, but anyway, this book. Okay, so far, not really a ton has happened, but basically I guess it's just going to be set in Boston, and it's going to be about Jackie kind of taking care of business in Boston, and there's some kind of money troubles, mainly because her company's bought a building, and then she decides that they have to buy the Pig and Whistle pub that she's obsessed with because it's closing otherwise, and she decides to build a playhouse in the barn next door, and that hasn't opened for business yet, but they've been working on it. And Ezra says, oh, we're out of money. And so she's like, well, I'll just go get the last little bit of gold that I squirreled away. So she takes the trip down to Cuba, New Orleans, and the Keys. And Clarissa ends up going along because Clarissa has some drama going on where I don't know what all it is because they haven't really found out yet. Jackie doesn't really know. But Clarissa, really, what's her name, right? If her name's not Clarissa, I'm gonna jump off a bridge. I'm gonna jump off a bridge. Yeah, it's Clarissa. Some drama about her not wanting to marry someone, and then Jackie leaves her in New Orleans with Mamselle Claudette for a week because she doesn't want Clarissa to find out about the gold, and Clarissa does a bunch of coke or something. I don't know, and then they get kicked out of New Orleans by Mrs. Bodine because she's like, I'm having none of this. And And then they ran into Randall on the way back. I don't know, Clarissa's all like, I owe you because you stole Randall from me like a couple years ago, probably in like book 2. And Jackie's like, was that forever ago though? Who like cares? And Clarissa's like, I'm gonna get you. And I'm like, okay. And Jamie is also in Boston, but Jackie doesn't know this because she's been gone this whole time. And also nobody else knows it because he's in disguise as like, he's like pretending to be like kind of a hobbling around old beggar. But he is supposed to be starting this like shipping, rival shipping business for Chopstick Charlie. I forget his real name. And so he does that, but then he just ended on this letter that he leaves Jackie, just like super dramatic, because he was poking around and he found that nude portrait of her and he's all like, oh no, she doesn't love me. I don't know, he's like mad because to be fair, Jackie does spend like a lot of time with all of these dudes who are very into her, and she definitely does like kiss them a lot. And you know, but also like Jamie has done the same thing, so shut the fuck up, Jamie. Like, anyway. You have no leg to stand on. Like, she's done it more, but he has had a couple of girlfriends, so I'm like, you guys are just not good at being a couple, but it's because you're often on the opposite sides of the planet, so like, who cares? But whatever, Jamie's out like, this is it, I'm leaving Boston and I'm never seeing Jackie again. I'm like, oh boy, I guess it was his turn. God, I think it would be interesting if this whole book series was really just leading to like them not getting together though. I don't know who I would want Jackie to end up with otherwise, because I don't care about her and Jamie really. Because I don't care about Jamie that much. Confession time. I like Jackie a lot. She's basically my favorite, but I think I would want her, I don't know. I don't know, because a lot of the guys are just like not really options for various reasons. I mean, maybe Lord Richard Allen, whatever his name is, that guy. They were pretty close in the last book. Or the second to last book. Fuck, I don't know. The last one when she was in England. No, yeah, it wasn't. It was book... Amazing. It was book 8. No, it wasn't. It was book 9. It was book 9. Not 10, because she was in Spain in 10. Okay, wow. There are too many books in this series. But anyway, so I'm halfway through this. Oh, God, what else has been going on? Oh, like, part of her money-making plan was to bring, like, Irish laborers to Boston on the Lorelei Lee. She's been doing that, but now Boston is sick of the Irish. They're like, there are too many Irish people here. And I'm like, cool, Boston, get used to it. Because that's not gonna change. But, they're supposed to be paying her back, and like most of them are, but some of them aren't, just because basically like how is she gonna make them? And I don't, they're starting all these like gangs. It's like a bunch of Irish gangs, and like the way that they operate is to have like to have like fire stations, like, you know, and it is basically a protection racket, you know, like pay us and we won't burn your house down. Which is a fun thing that really happened in history. Oh, and also Amy is part of some sort of like group of like women's temperance and suffrage. And I'm like, were they really caring about those things in 1809 or whenever the fuck this is? But I'm not gonna look it up. It seems a little early, but I mean, I'm sure somebody cared, but it's like 100 years earlier than when those things really took off. But it doesn't matter. I'm having a fun time. And I'll probably just update when I'm done with it, because it's like not that long at all. So, see you then. I finished it. Boston Jackie. Sorry, there's a window. Okay, Boston Jackie. done. What the hell was happening last time I talked? I don't remember. But I finished it. Oh boy, there was just kind of a lot of wild stuff. Like, she got in trouble with the law. That's what most of it was about. And Amy was really mad at her and they had a big fight. And because the woman in charge of the suffragette / temperance society hates Jackie because Jackie runs a bar and made fun of her, she got Jackie's kids taken away. Okay, her kids, like Joni, who she looks after, and Ravi, who she considers her son, which is just adorable. Every time she's like, my son, and he's like, Mom. I'm like, I'm gonna die. They're so cute. Although they point out that she has not actually formally adopted him, but she says she hasn't because she's not married, everything she owns would become his, like, automatically, and she's like, I don't want that to happen. I mean, because he's so young. So, yeah, so she has to, like, they're both taken away, and she has to go to court on trial for, like, being unfit to take care of them, so it's a whole thing, and, like, they do get them out, but, like, she ends up having to actually go in and, like, rescue Ravi from this, like, school for stubborn boys kind of nonsense place that they put him in, and they rescue him, and some of his friends come with, and so then they're just like, all right, you have to go on the Lorelei Lee now as, like, ship's boys, because you can't just, like, stick around here in Boston because they'll just find you again. And then there's a whole lot of goofy stuff, like, she puts her, like, special mushroom brew that she's made more of in Judge Thwackum's tea, and then he gets all, like, crazy, and then Constable Wiggins figures out that she must have done something, and he puts 2 and 2 together, and, like, then she's on trial for witchcraft, which is hilarious. And Jamie, meanwhile, is just, like, moping about, like, oh, Jackie, you have betrayed me, but I can't leave. Anyway, so he's an idiot, and so then he leaves her a letter all like, oh, I will give you one last chance to meet me at this time and place, but then she doesn't because she doesn't get the letter because Clarissa stole it. Which you don't find out till the epilogue, but I was like, okay, so Clarissa stole it. I get it, yeah, duh. And to pay her back for books and books ago, her fucking around with Randall and, like, causing them to break off their engagement. But also Clarissa's father is all like, you are no daughter of mine, because she's, like, running around with Jackie and, like, performing in his plays and in her play and stuff. And so Clarissa didn't give a shit, though. The epilogue is delightful because it's just this letter from Clarissa being like, well, I went to New Orleans and I'm hanging out with all your friends in New Orleans, and General Jackson is taking me to a ball. And I'm like, oh my god. It's very funny. Yeah. It's still 1809. I'm like, I don't think we're gonna get to the War of 1812 because there's only one book left, and there's no way it's gonna take place over the course of, like, 4 years. So, yeah. Oh, and Jamie has left, of course, and Clarissa explained all that to Jackie, and Jackie's all like, ah, but we don't know what she's gonna do about that. Oh, boy. Those two motherfuckers, like, they really just need to get together, because I'm tired of it. Either break up for real, or get together for real. I am tired of this. But I did find the ending of the book to be really funny. There's just a lot of nonsense, and I loved Clarissa's letter. I thought it was really amusing. And overall, it's a decent book. And I'm going to read the next one very soon. Probably, as usual, slip something in between there. But soon. Wild Rover no more. I'm so worried that she's going to die. Like, this is the stupidest thing to worry about. Because, like, why would anybody write a 12-book series about a girl having adventures in 1800 something and then kill her off at the end? That would be insane, right? Also, I don't know if the final book was intended to be the final book. Title-wise, it kind of sounds like it is. But I also know that L.A. Meyer died not too long ago. And I'm not sure about the timeline as to whether he died after that book was published or what. Like, basically, I don't know if that's how the series is supposed to end or if he was intending to write more books. But we will find out, and next time I'll read I'll read, like, the inner flap of that book and find out what it's supposed to be about, and we're gonna have a fun time. And then we'll be done. And then I have an idea of what I might do next, so I'll let you know. Hello. It's time. Okay, so first of all, it's been like several weeks. I lied. I intended to get busy and read, you know, Wild Rover No More fairly quickly, and then I just didn't. But in my defense, I have been moving. And I'm still in the process of moving into my house. Yeah, I own a house. That seems insane, so let's just not dwell on it. But I have got myself into a little bit of trouble with Wild Rover No More because it's due at the library tomorrow and I can't renew it again. So I started it last night, but I just didn't want to film in the middle of the night. Well, it wasn't the middle of the night, but you know, late. Sorry. So yeah, I've been reading it. I'm like about 100 pages in. All I want to do right now, and it's, you know, for the record, it's a Friday and I just got home from work. I just want to watch YouTube videos, but alas, no, I must read this book because I don't want to have to pay a fine at the library. Plus, it's the library by my old house / parents' house, and that means it's like 45 minutes away, so I'm not, you know, I'm planning on going there tomorrow anyway, so it's the perfect time to return the book, so I need to fucking read it. Anyway, let's talk about what it's about. So, first of all, this cover, I have had another look at it. It's really not like, there's a Klan hoodiness to that, but like, it isn't real. Nobody else is dressed like that. I think it's just the executioner hood, but it's white, which freaks me out. Like it should be black. I don't like this. But anyway, but will she be hung? That's the question. Okay, so I'm not going to read this entire thing, I don't think, because I've already read it to myself, so it won't be as exciting. But basically, it's like, oh shit, Lieutenant Flashby, her nemesis, is set on revenge, and he frames her for passing confidential information to the British, labeling her another Benedict Arnold. So that's already happened where I am, and like, she finds this out, and she has to flee Boston, and she's moved to Plymouth and gotten herself a job as a governess, and that's where I am right now. She's also, right before she had to flee, had a confrontation with Jamie, because a little bit of time has passed and she just came into Boston from another trip, and Jamie happened to be there because his ship, the Shannon, which he is serving on now as a second lieutenant, was in the harbor for a little while, and this was like its last day, and so he had to see her, and they had it out a bit. They had a bit of a fight, but it seems like they're back together now, because like immediately he has decided, okay, I'm gonna go off to London now with a couple other of the like characters, and they're all going to try and clear Jackie's name to deal with this issue. Because what happened for Flashby's plan is, because she was on this trip and she was in Cuba, she picked up a diplomatic like packet in Havana, and apparently ships are just supposed to carry these without opening and deliver them. So that's what she did, without knowing what was in it, but it turns out it was a fake one, and it was from Flashby, and it makes it look like she's been smuggling, like, important documents, and like, it was like a map of some fort, some American fort, and tensions are rising with the British again, as usual. State of things at that time, all the time, and so it looks like she's a traitor to America, which, like, she's not American, but who cares? Okay, who cares? If you live in America, you're an American, at least back in 1809. So, I don't know, what am I saying? I need to continue reading this. So that's kind of my update right now. I am enjoying it. It's fun so far. And I am going probably to, maybe when I'm maybe when I'm like 2/3 of the way through, I'll do an update. Half doesn't seem like, it seems like I'm pretty close to half, so that's not far enough. I mean, it's like a 350 page book, so I'll see you then, I guess. Hopefully I can finish this. I mean, I can if I sit down and do it, but like, hopefully I will sit down and do it, you know? We'll see. Okay, I'm back. It's been a few hours. I have watched my YouTube videos, but I've also read. And now I am a good 2/3 of the way through the book, at least. Let's see, where am I? About 100 pages left. This is a really fun book, and I'm very much enjoying it. So the governess gig works for a while, but eventually they find her out and they come for her, and so she has to run off, and she joins a circus. She pretends to be Russian and joins a circus to do tightrope walking. There we go, that's slightly less horrible. Delightful, very fun. It took me, okay, so there was this whole joke in the governess bit where one of the kids is named Edgar Allan Polk, and he wants to be a pirate, and he names his imaginary ship the Raven. Now, this was all very dumb, but it took me until I was done with that section to be like, oh, fuck, because she named herself, her fake name was Annabelle Lee. So, just so much eye rolling. Like, these books are ridiculous. But then when she's this fake Russian, right, to be in the circus and do her tightrope walking. So she calls herself Natasha Romanoff. I was like, okay, okay. So that was funny too. But the circus thing goes really well, and there's a lot of like delightful, strange people at the circus, and eventually she ends up buying it for reasons I don't want to get into, but like there's some Higgins content, there's some Mahraid, and now though she's had to run away from the circus, and she's been found out again, you know, and so now she's been captured right where I left off. So we're very worried. Higgins was all like, I think your 9 lives are up. He was like counting off all these near-death experiences she's had. I'm like, okay, Mr. Meyer, please don't do this to my heart. Like, I'm still really worried that she's gonna end up getting hung at the end of it. Okay, I'm gonna move so that the window is not reflecting in my glasses as much. Is that better? There we go. Anyway, Mr. Meyer, please don't kill Jack. I will literally like be so mad if she dies at the end of the series, which would be a crazy thing to actually have happen, I think. But you never know. Like, I don't know. It's like this fucking whole 12 book series. Listen, okay, so here's my actual theory for how this is gonna end. My theory is that she's gonna fake her death, but that the book itself will leave it a little bit mysterious. Because like, she's faked her death before, but I think if this is, and I think this is the intentional end of the series, like the way that it's written and stuff like indicates this to me, that this was intended to be the last book. So it's like, okay, it says it's being the last recorded account of the life and times of Jackie Faber. And I'm like, she's not gonna die, right? No, but like, that doesn't necessarily mean she'll be dead. Just that this is the last book about her. Also, the last, like the last recorded account. Also, if she finally marries Jamie, then she can change her name to Jackie Fletcher, and then there could be no stories about Jackie Faber anymore. I don't know, who cares? Listen, I'm just coming up with reasons why she does not need to die. So yeah, whatever. I'm really enjoying this. This is a very fun book, and I will say that like, so far, I'm very happy to be reading this. I'm just very worried about how it's gonna end. Yay, ha ha ha. So I'll probably take a bit of a break, but I'll get back to it. I'm gonna try and finish it tonight and finish out this vlog. And then I think, well, I'll try and wrap it up a little bit and talk about the series as a whole and my plans for what I might do next. So yeah. All right. Okay, so first of all, I don't know how well this picks up other sounds, but if you can hear that, that's the dishwasher. It's just really loud. Okay, time to finish out this project. So I finished Wilder Over No More yesterday successfully. Just like, I read the last 100 pages in the morning and returned it to the library, and everybody's happy. And I really liked it. Do I want to spoil how it ends? Yes, okay. Like, So my prediction was correct. They did fake her death. But they faked out the audience for a while because they were telling it through Amy's perspective, because Amy starts this journal at the beginning of the book that has a few entries, and so basically it's like mainly for the purpose of her writing about this at the end. So she is not in on the plan because they're all like, well, you would have reacted, like you reacted more realistically. She's like, okay, fuck you all. But it'd be really great if Amy said that. But yeah, so they fake Jackie's hanging, and I'm not really sure what the long-term plan on that is. But you know, especially since like she's the proprietor of a business who like owns all of these things, like, you know, where do those things go legally if she is legally dead? I have no idea. But also it's 1809, so maybe nobody's paying that close of attention to this shit. Who knows? We can but hope, right? But she's not dead, which is what's important. And the book ends with her finally marrying Jamie. Jesus fucking Christ. It's been 84 years. But okay. But yeah, the ending did make me really happy, and it was also like exciting, and you know, you were just quite worried about it, and it was just like, oh shit. And it really did seem like she was dead for a couple of chapters. I was like, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't do this, but also this seems frighteningly realistic. I think because my assumption was that Jackie wasn't in on the plan, but she actually was informed of it right last minute. So she knew enough to be playing dead, but I was like, how could they have, if this is a plot, how could, you know? And poor Jamie was not aware of any of this because he was still traveling across the Atlantic with the actual proof that she's not a traitor, because I guess basically they were trying to get the proof that she's not working for the British, like spy agency, that's not a thing. The British, like, she's not a British spy anymore. They, you know, discharged her from that, so that he was getting proof of that, which I guess would be enough to show that she's not a spy for the British. I don't know that that's enough to show she's not a traitor. I mean, what if she was just like a free agent? I don't know, who cares? The point is though that he comes too late and he's like, oh no, Jackie is dead, and is like super sad about it. But you know, then they drag it out a little because Jackie is like, just let him think I'm dead for like 10 more minutes, because he's gonna come up to where you have supposedly buried me on this hill, and I'm gonna greet him there. And anyway, we're all very happy for them. Lots of fun stuff, truly. And Amy was like planning out, like they're gonna get married, but like the next day, and so or maybe the day after that, and so she's planning out all the people they're gonna invite. It's just such a wonderful list of like every single character. And she was also like, maybe I'll invite the former President Adams and his wife, because they live near here, which they do, because they're at Dovecote, which is Amy's like home, which is in Quincy. So yeah, and the Adamses are from Quincy. Anyway, so that's fun. I hope that happened. She says about fictional characters in a wedding that was never written. But yeah, I thought it was really great, and I'm now sad that we just don't get more, because like she's such a fun character, and I love reading about Jackie running around having all these wild adventures. And that's it. Womp womp. Okay, so let's talk. Okay, so series overall, right? 12 goddamn books. I liked them all. I did not love them all. I feel like it kind of goes quality-wise back and forth a little bit, because there are some that I really, really liked, and then there are some where I'm a little bored. I'm a little like, okay, I don't really care about this. What's the point? But that could also be at least somewhat my own mood. I don't know. But I think it's a really fun series, and I think it's a shame that nobody seems to talk about it. And I don't know what the kids are reading these days, but not this, I guess. I'm not a big young adult reader. Like, I wasn't even really in high school, because at that point I discovered science fiction, and we were done with the YA section of the library at that point. I was like, all right, I already read everything here that I wanted to read and mostly didn't like it, so I'm out. But I think there's a lot more young adult now, honestly, like, and more variety. Like, it really seems like it. But whenever I pick up something that's young adult and fairly new, A lot of times I don't like it that much. I mean, there are some exceptions, but I think I've just outgrown it, frankly, which is fine. Like, a lot of times I'm reading it like, I just don't care about teenagers. I don't care about their drama. I don't care. So, you know, whatever. But apparently, something like Jackie Faber still gets me because, like, I guess because of the nostalgia of having read it when I was the appropriate age range. And also, like, I think I like young adult historical fiction. I think that's the very specific YA genre that works for me. Like, young adult contemporary, no thanks. Young adult sci-fi, I don't think so. I've read a couple and just didn't really like them. So, it's YA historical fiction for me. Okay, now, what do I plan to do with this whole series idea? Because, like, I've been doing this Jackie Faber thing for nearly 2 years. I started in September of 2019, I think. And it was not, I did not intend for it to take this long. Like, it's 12 books, yes, but I kind of thought I could finish it quicker. And it was at least partially the pandemic's fault. Like, I couldn't go to the library for a significant chunk of 2020. So, you know, that did not help. But anyway, finally we are here. We're done. It's fine. But what am I going to do next? I have some ideas. One of them I'm definitely doing next, okay? And then after that, it's a little more nebulous. So what I want to do next, I want to do a rereading of another YA historical fiction series that I read when I was younger. I don't know that it has an umbrella name, but the first book is called Pagan's Crusade, and it's by, like, Catherine Jinks, I think. I could have looked this up. I didn't. And it's, like, set during some crusade or other. I'm sorry, I didn't take AP Euro. I don't know the Crusades. And it's about this Arab Christian boy named Pagan, which, what a name. And he lives in, like, Jerusalem, I guess. And he starts working for the Knights Templar. It's like a whole thing. But I read this book a couple of times when I was, like, maybe in middle school. And I haven't even laid eyes on it since then. So I am hoping I can get it from the library. But if I can't, then I'm not doing this because I'm not buying this. But, like, yeah, I want to read the series again. It's according to Goodreads, there are 5 books, but I never read the 5th book. It's about his daughter, apparently. I'm just not very interested. But we'll see when I get there, I guess. But my main plan is to read the first 4 books, which I had read when I was younger anyway. Yeah, so historical fiction YA, it's the genre. Now, after I do that, I have an incredibly ambitious notion, right? It's a notion. I don't know if I'm actually going to do it because, I mean, if 12 books took me 2 years, how long is, like, fucking, it's like 22 books or something. This, oh boy, Redwall. Like what if I read all of the Redwall books by Brian Jacks? I mean, what if I did? So when I was younger, again, of course, I was very into Redwall. I really liked those books. Oh, my camera battery's flashing, great. And I have read most of them, but it's been a really long time and I actually would like to reread some of them. And then I was like, what if I just made it a whole thing? Insanity. Don't know if it's gonna happen, but maybe it will. Now, other possibilities are mostly just like if I want to do, you know, stuff I read when I was younger and never finished the series and it's aimed at a younger audience, but I'm not really that interested in continuing or finishing to read these series. So like Percy Jackson or like Artemis Fowl or like the 2 big ones, and I don't care enough to really do that. So Pagan's Crusade it is. And hopefully that happens. Like, I'm not making promises, but I will see you then if it does. But overall, this Jackie Faber was definitely, like, it was a win. So this was fun at least.